Verse 1. So King Solomon was king over all Israel, and these were the princes which he had: Azariah, the son of Zadok the priest; Eliahoth and Ahiah, the sons of Shisha, scribes; Jehoshaphat, the son of Ahilud, the recorder; and Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, was over the host, over the army. And Zadok and Abiathar were the priests. And Azariah, the son of Nathan, was over the officers. And Zabud, the son of Nathan, was principal officer and the king's friend.
And when you check this out in Solomon's kingdom, because he was naming all of the men that was in certain positions, even in Solomon's kingdom there was complete order. All right? Just like how it is right now, you got certain camp leaders that are over other camps. Okay, and the orders go beyond down. So that's how the kingdom is going to be set up. Being that Yahawashi is going to spearhead the kingdom. And we're reading about Yahawashi when he was Solomon, going in the reincarnation, going.
And Ahijah was over the household, and Adoniram, the son of Abda, was over the tribute.
Right.
And Solomon had 12 officers over all Israel.
Right. So there you go. So you had certain men that were frontiers of the nation of Israel. Because if you just one man, you can't take care of everybody. You can't be aware or conscious of most people, or should I say the majority of the people on the earth. So you need different positions and different structures to govern that society, or to govern any society. Like for example, you think Evelyn Rothschild has to be aware of the majority of the people? No. That's why you have the police. Okay, the police are there to make sure that the people correspond to the laws that are set. Go on.
They say, and Solomon had 12 officers over all Israel,
right,
which provided victuals for the king and his household.
Right.
Each man his month in a year made provision.
Right.
And these are their names: the son of Hur in Mount Ephraim, the son of Dekar in Makaz and in Sha'albim.
And if you check something out, I just thought about this, right? Because when you read the book of Revelations, it speaks about how in what you're gonna have 12 thrones judging the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. So he had 12 what? He had 12 kings, right?
12 officers.
12 officers that was pretty much they were the leaders of the nation of Israel. And we're reading about a time when all of the tribes were together, okay, as that one unit. Go on.
So they say, and Beth Shemesh and Elon Beth Hanan, the son of Esed in Aruboth, to him pertained Sochoth.
Which verse?
10. And all the land of Hefer, the son of Abinadab, in all the region of Dor,
okay, go on,
which had Taphath, the daughter of Solomon, to wife.
Right, go on.
But I
think we'll go all the way down to verse, as we've covered those points right there, so what we want to do is, brother, we want to go down to verse 18. Start from 19, excuse me.
19. Gibeah, the son of Uriah, was in the country of Gilead.
Right, which is where the land of Benjamin is at.
Right. In the country of Sihon, king of the Amorites, and of Og, king of Bashan.
Yep.
And he was the only officer which is in the land.
Okay, go on.
Judah and Israel were many,
okay,
as the sand which is by the sea, in multitude, eating and drinking and making merry.
Right, so that's equivalent to how it's going to be in the kingdom. Because what did the Lord, what does it say in the scriptures? The Lord said he was going to multiply us. Right now we're few, but we're going to be multiplied as a nation, and we're going to be enjoying ourselves. Because you know, Jake like to eat. All right? Hell, I like to eat, man. You know what I'm saying? So Jake was cool in the time of Solomon. Why? Because Solomon was a righteous king. Okay? And when you go further back, during the time of I believe it was Abraham, you had a prophet by the name of Melchizedek. Now, the word Melchizedek in Hebrew is Malak Tazadakia, which means righteous king. Alright, so when the righteous king ruled, which was Solomon, it was 40 years of peace. Okay? And Yahawashi, he's going to come back as that same spirit and bring about peace on earth again. Okay? Why? Because he's that spirit. Right, he's also known as the Prince of Peace. Go on.
See, Judah and Israel were many, as the sand which is by the sea, in multitude, eating and drinking and making merry.
And making merry, meaning they were partying. You know how Jake like to party and act silly. And they was doing that, man, heavy. Because the thing with Solomon, the reason why Solomon's kingdom was so great, because you gotta go all the way back to the time of David, as he was going into last week. David was pretty much destroying them nations left, right, hand, and center, like it was nothing. And so much so that all of the nations had to fear David. Even so much so, when Solomon came on the scene, it was peace for Israel. Alright, and that's how it's going to be set up again on this side of the spectrum, because when Yahawashi comes down here and proclaims his name and magnifies his power, guess what? All of these nations are going to fear us. And that's where the kingdom is going to be situated. Okay? And not only is Yahawashi going to do damage, but we're going to be reigning with Yahawashi and also doing damage to these other nations. So that they can be put in fear, and that way we can be in peace. Like during the time of what? Solomon. Go on.
Let's say. And Solomon reigned over all kingdoms.
Right, he reigned over all kingdoms. Give me that in see, this is all parallel. Give me that in Daniel 2. Hold that. Give me Daniel 2nd chapter. You know where it says that the stone. Because I was reading the book of 1 Kings, the 4th chapter, but now I got new precepts coming in my mind that I never thought of before. Okay, go on.
And it says, so it says, Daniel chapter 2, verse, let me start from verse 34. Let me start verse 33. His legs of iron, his feet parts of iron and parts of clay.
Right.
Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands.
Okay.
Which smote the image.
Right, which smote the images. What did the image represent? The vision of Daniel, the statue. It represented all of the paganistic empires that was on the scene. So when this stone came out, that was cut without, excuse me. Alright, go on, we're going to read some more.
So it said, so it smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces.
Right, and break them into pieces. Break them what? Into subjection. So all of these nations, let me turn this sound around. All of these nations are going to be broken into pieces. Because the stone is talking about Yahawashi. Alright? He's going to break in pieces many peoples. So when he situates the kingdom, ain't no nation going to rise up and revolt. Because they're going to remember their ass when they got. Alright? They will remember, because that ass whooping is going to be something like you've never seen before. Okay, go on.
Let's say, and break them to pieces. There was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold, broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them.
That's it.
And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth.
Right, so that little stone became a great mountain and it filled the whole earth. So that stone, like I said, that represents the Messiah, a so-called black man from the tribe of Judah. Okay, he's the stone that grew, and it became a great stone. All right, you know to get it. So just like during the time of Solomon, which Solomon was also a so-called black man. All right, when you read what is it? I believe it's 1 Kings, the 1st chapter. Or no, excuse me, I'm wrong. The Song of Solomon, 1 and I believe it's 4. All right, look not upon me because I am black. All right, that's what he said. Because I'm black and comfortable. So So Solomon was the wisest king on the earth, and he was of what tribe? The tribe of Judah, a so-called black man, so-called Negro. Because see, when you think about King Solomon, you automatically think about some old white guy with a great beard. No, King Solomon looked like all of us all put together. And he was the wisest man on the scene of the earth. All right? I tell you what, bro.
Look at the scripture that talks about Yahawashi being a cornerstone, chief cornerstone. It's in the Old and New Testament.
Right, it's 1 Peter 2 and 6. 1 Peter 2 and 6. No, that's not
Ephesians 2 and 20.
right. Luke 20 and 17.
Mark 12 and 10.
Ephesians 2 and 20 as well.
Luke 20 and 17. And he beheld them and said, what is this thing that is written? The stone which the builders rejected, the same has become that of the cornerstone.
Luke 20 and what?
17.
Luke chapter 20 verse 17. And he beheld them and said, what is this then that is written? The stone which the builders rejected.
Right, the stone which the builders rejected. Go on.
The same is become the head of the corner.
All right, now get Mark 12. Or is this some more now, right?
Whosoever shall fall upon that stone shall be broken, but whomsoever it shall fall, it will grind him to powder.
Right, because when Yahawashi comes back, what is he going to do? He's going to break. He's going to break into pieces.
Right.
And also the 2/3 of our people too.
Destroy the Gentiles.
The destroy the Gentiles is come. Because the Lord, when Yahawashi comes back through the world called Jesus Christ, people have been mistaught that when he comes back, basically he's going to bring out daisies and roses and gather all people together, holding hands, and it's a jolly old moment in time and day. No, when the Lord comes, he's going to bring death and destruction. Why? Because the earth needs judgment. That's what. We don't. No, read what you got. Read that again.
Whosoever shall fall upon that stone,
right,
shall be broken.
Right. So the men that fall up, the different guys that fell upon that stone are the guys that fell under this thing, man. Okay. Because in order for you to be at one with that particular stone on Yahawashi, hey, you're not going to have to worry about being grinded to pieces if you're doing everything that's right. But if you are scoffing the scorner, or you are a guy that once came in the truth, and you've totally left it, hey, you're going to fall in that stone, and that stone is going to grind you to smithereens, man. Okay, go on.
They say, but on whosoever it shall fall, it will grind him to powder.
Right, go on. That's it. All right, that's it. You give me Mark 12 and 10 now.
This is Mark chapter 12, verse 10. And have ye not read this scripture? The stone which the builders rejected is become the head of the corner.
Right, and that's Yahawashi. Because everybody, that's why it says in the scriptures, his own received him not. Okay, and even the majority of the people of Israel, they rejected Yahawashi. So they didn't see the use in believing in him as a savior. Okay, the only Messiah that can reconcile you to the Most High. They didn't see it that way. They just saw him as a madman. Because he declared himself to be way before Abraham, all right? And the one and only Son of God that was written in the scriptures. So they thought he was mad. But not understanding that prophecy came into fruition at the time, that he was the Son of Man. All right, he was Salaki. He was the Son of God, the begotten Son, the begotten Spirit. Okay. So yeah, read on.
That's
I read that.
Right, this is Ephesians 2 and I'll start 18. For through him we both have access by one Spirit unto the Father.
Right.
Now therefore ye are no more strangers and foreigners,
right,
but fellow citizens with the saints,
right,
and of the household of Yahawashi.
That's it, because now we're all brothers now. You know, there's no differentiation between us and Yahawashi. We're all in one, because we're pretty much walking in his spirit. All right, but when you're doing your own thing, like we was talking about earlier to this guy right here, basically, you know, a guy that was in this camp here, Sean, he's got a different spirit on him. he ain't walking in the spirit of Yahawashi. All right, and that's why if he don't repent, hey, the Lord is going to deal with him. Okay, that's just the thing about it, man. Go on.
And it says, for therefore ye are no more strangers and foreigners,
Right.
but fellow citizens with the saints,
Right.
and of the household of Yahweh, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Yahawashi Mashiach himself,
Right.
being the chief cornerstone.
Being the chief cornerstone. So that's the foundation. The foundation is Yahawashi. That's it. Okay, and if you're doing your own thing and you formulating new breakdowns, formulating your own new Hebrew, right? And all of this kind of madness that you're doing, you ain't corresponding in Yahawashi. You're not of Yahawashi. All right? When you in Yahawashi is about doing everything accordingly. This is his word. You have to follow his word. Go on.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, so we're gonna go back to Salt. We're gonna go back to 1 Kings 4. Is that
Right.
on that?
Yeah, just a little, I'm about to finish it.
Go on.
And it says, in whom all the buildings fitly framed together
Right.
groweth unto an holy temple in the Lord,
Right.
in whom ye also are builded together for an habitation
Right.
of Yahweh through the Spirit.
Through the spirit. And that's what I was telling you earlier before. When you come into the truth, okay, or should I say, when you went to Shun, right? You didn't come in the truth the right way. But when you come through us, now you're understanding what Yahawashi was all about, which is these scriptures. Okay, now you understand what you must do, what's required of you, how to conduct. Okay, how to be reasonable. Not just going out there, or you can come in the camp. You can come in the camp if you want to. No, you have to go through this levels to this thing, like our apostles like to say. All right, there's levels to this thing. Okay, you can't. What's the word, man? It's like I'm gonna use the analogy of weights. Let's say, for example, right? You barely can't even lift 200 pounds, but you think you gonna bench press 400 pounds. You're gonna hurt yourself. That's what you're gonna do. But so what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to come through the right way and come and get that authorization. You gotta load yourself to this truth. I always use that terminology. You know, like we had to load ourselves to this truth. Is there any more now? All right, go back to what
It says 1 Kings 4:21. And Solomon reigned over all kingdoms,
Right.
from the river unto the land of the Philistines.
So this is the thing. This is all parallel to what's going to happen in the future. Because Solomon reigned over all kingdoms. Why? Because King David was kicking their asses. King David was slaying these nations. I mean, he was a bloody man. All right, he was swimming and dancing in their blood, man. That's what he was. I'll use the word dancing. All right, David was dancing in the blood of the nations, man. And so much so that the nations had that fear and it was peace. Okay, go on. And then Solomon came through and reigned over all kingdoms, which are the kingdoms of the other nations that David was putting to death. Go on.
And unto the border of Egypt.
Right.
They brought presents and served Solomon all the days of his life.
Right, and they served Solomon all the days of his life, man. Okay, because Solomon was the perfect man in wisdom and understanding. All right, and they feared him because of his wisdom alone. And the kingdom of Solomon, it was a perfect kingdom. So if you have a perfect society, you ain't gonna deal with people revolting against you, protesting. All right, complaining about this and complaining about that. All right, the nations were in unison with that kingdom. And that was sure that the 12 tribes were. Go on. Go on.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 13. Moreover, by the means of her, wisdom,
Yeah.
I shall obtain immortality.
Right, I shall obtain immortality, meaning life. Go on.
And leave behind me an everlasting memorial to them that come after me.
Right.
I shall set the people in order.
I shall set the people in order, man. That's what Solomon did. Solomon set everything in order. Okay? And that's why the nations, they served him all the days when he was living on the earth. It was peace. Because everything was done perfectly. The governance of Solomon was done perfectly. Why? Because he kept the laws. It when you're ruling like the so-called white man and you're formulating your own new laws, okay, guess what? You're gonna bring about a disruption. And out of that comes corruption. Now you're gonna have the people complaining about their health, this and that and the third. Okay? So that's what happens. When you're in a society and you're setting up your own man-made laws, rather than you using the manuscript of the earth, which is the Bible, you're gonna bring about full corruption, man. Okay, go on.
And the nations shall be subject unto me.
Right, and the nation shall be subject unto me. So Yahawashi, he's going to do the same thing that King Solomon did, which they're the same people. Go on.
Horrible tyrants shall be afraid when they do but hear of me.
The Israelites, we're the Israelites. Go on.
Oh, it's impossible.
We're the Hebrew Israelites. Go on.
I shall be found good among the multitude and valiant in war.
Right, I shall be found good amongst the multitude and valiant.
Puerto Rican,
Go on.
That's pretty much it.
That's the thing. So how would you be found amongst the multitude? By doing the good works. By keeping those laws.
Understand it.
Alright, go on.
Right, it's Hebrews 3:17. Obey them that have the rule over you.
Right.
And submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls.
And that's just the bottom line, man. That's just the bottom line. Because in the kingdom of heaven, every Jake ain't gonna be to do what they want to do. You're gonna submit to the wisdom and understanding of Yahawashi, man. Alright? And if you can't do that now, then you're only built to be destroyed. Okay, if you was a guy that was amongst the camp, great millstone, and you decided to, walk your ass out of there for some sort of reason, that means you're anti-Yahawashi, man. That's why what's gonna happen when you in the kingdom, you're gonna be the least. Okay, go on, read that.
And it says,
Oh yeah.
for they watch for your souls,
Right.
as they that must give account, and they may do it with joy and not with grief.
Right, and that's just the bottom line. You got a question?
Yeah. What is this?
I just said it. What the Hebrew
Is it religious or devil?
No, this is
No,
this is
they're actually. I
nationality.
think they're actually like.
Because in Dragon 666.
No,
But
they're
you
letting
wanted
us
me
know
to answer
about
the
it.
question. Now you're
And
saying
it's-
what it is. Come on, man. Let's continue.
I'll listen.
it says, and
wait.
And Solomon's
Metro.
provision for one day was 30 measures of fine flour.
No,
Yeah, read that verse again. Read that again.
And Solomon's provision for one day was 30 measures of fine flour
Right.
and 60 measures of wheat.
Right, because you got different kinds of flour. She wanted me to answer the question. She's answering the question for her. Right? That don't make any sense. This is silly, man. Go on.
10 fat oxen and 20 oxen out of the pastures, and 100 sheep, beside hearts and roebucks and fallow deer
Right.
and fatted fowl.
So he had variations of cattle. And that's what makes you rich, because see, the money that we have in hand or in pocket is devaluating day and day, by and by. Why? Because there's no substance to back it. Alright? But back in the ancient world, your wealth was known because you had cattle, because it was useful. Anything that's useful for mankind, it has substance to it. You're rich. Okay, you can use sheep to do certain things, and you can use sheep to eat. Okay, go on.
For he had dominion over all the region on
Right.
this side,
Okay.
the river, from Tifsah even to Azar,
Right.
over all the kings on this side the river.
Okay.
And he had peace on all sides round about him.
Right, he had all peace, all sides right about him. So it was a peaceful society that he had. A peaceful civilization. Why? Because he's the man of what? Peace. Melchizedek, which means king of righteousness. So he was that king of righteousness, even as Solomon. Okay, so you got to know how to decipher these precepts, and this is what I'm saying. If you learn from Great Millstone, you're going to learn the right understanding.
What quick question?
What's that?
Can we keep like all the commandments?
But you can't keep all the commandments.
What? We say because we're still in captivity. Is that what?
You got to speak up, I can't hear you.
Is it because we're still in captivity? Is that what?
Right, but we got to go deeper than because we're in captivity. It's because really when you check it out, you got to follow this man's laws. You got to follow the so-called white man's laws. Now in the Bible it tells you if the two men lay together in the bedroom, guess what? According to the law, they're supposed to be put to death. Now if you do that in this society, you're going to go to jail. So you can't keep all the laws. You understand what I'm saying? And then also, even the jacket you're probably wearing has got different fabrics in it. The Scripture says not to mix. So we're not going to be saved by the law alone. We're going to be saved based on us believing in Yahawashi, that he's our Lord and Savior. Okay, that grace. All right. Let me see what time it is. 7. Okay, we got 2 hours to go on.
So they say, and verse 25, excuse me, and Judah and Israel dwelt safely.
Right, and Judah and Israel dwelt safely. That's going to happen in the kingdom again. It tells you in, what is it, Isaiah 16:18. It says that no violence will be heard in thy cities. Okay, so the 40 years of Solomon's kingdom, that 40 years of peace is going to extend into the kingdom as an everlasting kingdom. All right, go on.
Can I read this?
Yeah, go on.
Luke chapter 1 verse 71, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers.
Right, so we're going to be saved from our enemies. So how in the hell do you get everybody being saved out of that? Somebody got to be playing the enemy, and somebody got to be playing those that are in exile, man. Those that are in captivity. Because you got these guys in the ITR, right? They're saying that the Gentiles can be saved. But yet, they're supposed to be the exalted camp above GMS now. Come on, man. You don't even know you're talking about.
It says, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers.
Right. That's all.
And to remember his holy covenant, the oath which he swore to our father Abraham,
Right.
that he would grant unto us,
Okay.
that we, being delivered out of the hand of our enemies,
Right. So, go on.
might serve him without fear, in holiness
Right, in
and
holiness.
righteousness
Yeah.
before him all the days of our life.
That's it. So that's what's going to happen. Like, for example, the nation served Solomon all the days of their life, right? That's going to go back and even more so. Because the thing with the kingdom of heaven is going to be for eternity. All right? And plus, our lives are going to be extended as well. Go on.
Going back to 1 Kings 4 verse 25. And Judah and Israel dwelt safely, every man under his vine and under his fig tree, from Dan even to Beersheba,
Right.
all the days of Solomon.
Right, all the days of Solomon. So they all dwelt in peace and harmony, man. There was no disease. There was no common colds. Okay, there was no man smoking a cigarette, drinking 6-pack of beers, walking around the street corner like he ain't got no damn sense. That's in the white man's world, the so-called white man's world, where you have all manner of confusion and death.
Right.
But in Solomon's kingdom, a so-called Negro, you didn't have all of that, man.
Right.
People had high respect for themselves and others. Okay, people have morals. And we're going to go back into that. And that's what we're all about. We're all about morals and self-respect and dignity. Okay, the so-called white man, he ain't about that. He's about destruction amongst people. Okay? And you know how you further prove that? Just go and deal with them when they're partying. You will see how destructive they can really be. Go on.
So they say, and Solomon had 40,000 stores of horses for his chariots.
Yeah, he was rich, man. I mean, even a horse today is highly expensive. Okay, if you was to buy a horse right now, you might have to pay, top dollar to buy a horse, man. One horse, you got horses out there that are worth 200,000. Worth more than the average car you see out there, man. So even still to this very moment, horses are still expensive animals, man. And Solomon had 40,000 of them balance. He was rich beyond measure. Because what it was is the Lord didn't bless him with riches. It was wisdom that made him rich. He had the know-how to gain all of these possessions. Go on.
It says, and 12,000 horsemen, and those officers provided victual for King Solomon.
Right.
And for all that came unto King Solomon's table.
Right.
Every man in his mouth and his month.
Yep.
They lacked nothing.
Right, they lacked nothing. It was all right, man. It was cool. There was no lack amongst the people. Everything was perfect, man. But in Esau society, you got more people that lack than those that are fulfilled. Like this geezer right here. That guy's booked out of his mind, man. You can't get better than a guy like that. He's got